All right, it is now time for episode number 35. We are here at the Gut Check Project. I'm Eric Rieger with your host, Dr. Ken Brown. We've got someone special here today, right between us.
Well, we are in someplace special.
We're
not in our home base anymore.
We aren't in the home base.
We are in a basement in Austin.
We are.
Because we heard that this special guy, Ron Klabunde, the founder of Replenish Foundation and Generosity Feeds, which you and I are huge fans of.
Definitely.
You took your family to go do that. We went and did that, and what he's doing is amazing. And we decided to do a mobile show here. We had the opportunity to track him down. He's busy.
Finally.
He's an important person.
Ron, obviously we're going to introduce you, the founder as Replenish Foundation as well as Generosity Feeds, but we came down here specifically for an event that you're hosting.
Yes.
Without further ado, Ron, just kick it off, and then we're going to, after you tell us what we're doing here today, we're going to back it up on how you even got here.
Sounds good. So tonight we are bringing the who's who of Austin together, highly curated group of 100 people. And basically we're going to party on purpose. We call it Pop Austin, party on purpose. Too many parties happen, it's just a party, right? What if we bring some meaning to that? Because all of us are looking for more meaning in life. So we've got the top people in Austin coming together to party on purpose. Obviously, we know when the right people are in the room, magic happens.
Definitely.
Happens from a business standpoint, happens interpersonally. And then there's the purpose side. So tonight, now what you guys don't even know is that you're showing up and everyone there is going to have a chance to create about 2,500 meals for local kids struggling with hunger.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just kind of ebb and flow in the middle of the party.
That's
right?
awesome.
And then on top of that, we're working to raise $60,000 tonight to help feed 50,000 children across America who are struggling with hunger and empower 64,000 volunteers that we're already working with as an ongoing force for good. So there's our purpose side.
Say that one more time. So tonight, this party that we're all going to have fun at.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's
And everything, right?
It's going to be entrepreneurs coming together, talking, sharing ideas. But you're going to feed how many people? You're going to raise how much money? And this is a party on purpose. I love that.
Yeah. So there will be about 2,500 meals created tonight throughout the course of the night, and then we're raising money to help feed 50,000 children in 29 states across America, and then empower our 64,000 volunteers as an ongoing force for good.
So we can't emphasize this enough here. So Ron and Ken and I met Ron around a year ago
Right. Yeah.
through the Baby Bathwater Network. Mm-hmm. And not long after we ran into each other, you invited Ken and I to participate in the Dallas Generosity Feeds.
That's right.
And we looked at it and we thought, I have no idea what this is. And just like Ken said, I was able to get my family. His were actually out of town playing tennis.
Yep.
But loaded the kids up, met Ken. My wife and I, we got together and we packed 11,000 meals in about an hour and 20 minutes.
That's dead on.
And it went to all of those kiddos who simply, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't get meals on the weekend. They happen to be on free lunch Monday through Friday.
That's right.
But they don't have anywhere to turn for the food. So kind of tell us a little bit about Generosity Feeds.
Yeah, so Generosity Feeds is kind of our premier initiative.
Okay.
It's what gave us influence and credibility across the country. It's why we have 64,000 volunteers today. And
Goodness.
We've helped feed over 170,000 children across America. I mean, it's crazy what's happened with this deal. And I can certainly give you the backstory on how that even started at some point here. But yeah, you came to our event in Dallas. By the way, our first event in Dallas.
Oh, nice.
And
was it?
Yeah, it was your first event, our first event there with you. And 11,000 meals created in less than 2 hours. You probably had about 300 people at that one event alone.
Oh, man, we were
So
packed.
that was the thing that I was super impressed. I showed up. Everybody there showed up kind of deer in the headlights, like, what do we do? And you have one thing in common. We're all here to help.
Yes.
So people are like, hi, I'm Joe. Hi, I'm so-and-so.
Yes.
These are my kids. This is my wife. He's like, yeah, we're here to help feed some people. Everybody had the same mission. It was just so cool because suddenly you have a purpose.
Yeah,
you show
a shared purpose.
A shared purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and the beauty of this is these 300 people are coming from all aspects of the city.
Oh, yeah.
This is the business sector coming together with the nonprofit sector, coming together with the local schools. And you probably even had some politicians standing in the room. But it goes further than that. Then you have people of all ages. You had
Definitely.
your kids with you?
Definitely.
Kids as young as 3. Sometimes moms or dads carrying the child on their chest,
Yeah.
right, as they're creating meals. And then we had a lady up in Washington State, 97 years old, helping serve. So it's crazy, right? But then it's beyond age. Then it's the social economic difference. Because Ken, you very likely were standing next to a single mom whose child 3 weeks later was going to receive the meals that you were creating.
Really?
Yeah, and you didn't know it.
Did not know it. But I talked everybody that was standing next to me. 'Cause
Definitely.
we formed. Now, the beauty is Generosity Feeds does a great job of the logistics
Right.
of getting the food that's there. This is how we're going to pack. This is how we're going to do it. It's a well-run business.
Absolutely.
It's a very well-run business, and we're going to get into this because to have a good nonprofit,
You better have a good business.
you better have a good business.
Well, and I'll even add that it's good business for businesses to be a part of. And
Yes.
I think I've shared this with you in the past, and Ken, you knew it. But when we went to go and be a part of Generosity Feeds, and of course, I'm going to say this several times because if you're ever interested, if Generosity Feeds is appearing in your neck of the woods, gather your friends and your family and go be a part of it. You'll spend 2 hours helping out tons and tons of kiddos who just simply need a meal.
Having fun, music,
Yeah, music.
Mike,
Dancing.
dancing. It was fun.
But I had never been to a Mod Pizza. Mod
Right.
Pizza happens to be one of the
Yes.
sponsors,
Yes.
title sponsors of everything Generosity Feeds does. Because of their involvement and the fun and the give back opportunity that we had, I've been to Mod Pizza now probably 8 or 10 times in the last year, and I'd never been there before. So I connect with the business aspect of wanting to be a part of something good. And suddenly I found a good and worthy business that actually has gluten-free pizza that my wife can eat. Because it's there's lots of reciprocity if you
Yes.
want to be a part of an organization that gives back. So if you're a company, pay attention. Ron's who you need to hook up with if you're interested.
Well, that's why we're here.
Right.
Atrantil, KBS Research, as a company, we're here to support you.
Yep.
Right.
Because we are trying to heal people's guts.
Yes.
And you are trying to feed people
And keep them full.
and
Yeah.
keep them full. And we want to be involved with a company like you. And I'm very honored that we're sitting here. I'm very honored that we have the ability to be in Austin, that we're going to be part of this. Thank you for inviting us. But I'm also honored that we work for a company that decided to do this together.
Yep.
So shout out to Chuck and Mike and Brandy and everybody and Anthony, everybody else on our team that said, yes, go down to Austin. We're going to support them.
Definitely.
That's right.
Absolutely. So we've talked a little bit about Generosity Feeds, and I believe you said it's a subsidiary of the Replenish Foundation.
Correct.
But there was a Ron Klabunde long before Replenish Foundation and
Correct.
Generosity Feeds. So where are you from? How did you get to...
Yeah, where my rear end is.
Yes.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ron is hilarious with lots of cheap jokes. Where his rear end is where he's from. And where did you originate from? How did you get to where you are now? I know that you have a history of being a pastor,
Yeah.
etc.
So yes, I was a pastor for 21 years. And in my own journey, as I've shared with you, I just became a little disillusioned with how local churches were talking about loving God and loving other people, and yet really weren't partnering with businesses to make a difference, or really, truly partnering with church schools to make a difference, or even other nonprofits. They tended to want to keep doing ministry on their terms.
Oh.
And I'm looking at this and I'm going, this isn't about what a church should be doing to, for, or in a community. It's what a church should be doing with a community, based on what a community needs. Why are churches inviting people to come to them to meet their needs on the church's terms, instead of doing what I saw Jesus doing, which was going out and meeting people on their terms?
Could you say that again? You said what a church shouldn't be doing to...
Yeah, so a church is focused so much on doing ministry to a community, in a community, or for a community. The moment we use those words, right?
Yeah.
It's all about it's about me and what I want to do to give. It's
Right.
not about the other person.
Mm-hmm.
This is about with. That it's what we get to do together.
Right.
Here's the principle behind it. Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? You're, in your families, you might be thinking, well, this Thanksgiving, who should we go serve?
Sure.
Or what nonprofit should we go
Yeah.
serve with as a family, right?
Right.
Many families in America do this. That's a good question to start with. Who are we going to serve? It's not the best question to start with.
Oh.
And here's why. That's an addition question. We are going to go serve them. That's 1 + 1. The better question is, who am I going to serve with?
Say that again. Who am I going to serve
with? Because if I want to make a difference in someone's life, then I need to be inviting you, because now I get this relationship and my desire to do good begins to rub off on you. You come with me and we together go serve, and something ignites in your heart, and now you're changed. And then you're like, that just felt good. That was right. I want to live a more meaningful life, more purposeful life. We all want to do that. And so what do you turn around and do? You go find another friend, and you're like, hey, you need to come do this with me. And so the power of generosity is not found in what we do. It's found in who we do it with. It's about the relationship.
You lead by example.
Yes.
You lead by example. You're not telling people to go do things. You say, follow me. I'm going to show you. We're going to do this together, and we're going to make each other better.
What he's saying is not even just a theory, and I haven't even got a chance to tell you this yesterday. So Ken had to leave the procedure facility yesterday earlier than I did because he had an interview. I stayed a little bit longer. We have a new center director, and his name's Chris. So a big shout out here to Chris. I told him why we were coming down here for the weekend. He thought it was an incredible opportunity. I said, well, we'll have another Generosity Feeds event in Dallas. You may want to see if the rest of the Indo Center would like to come be a part of it. He immediately said, what a great team building exercise for all of us to go down and give back to the community. I mean, it bled from you encouraging us to meet your team. Yes. I just happened to mention it without any prompting from you. And now,
because it was just lived.
Yeah, I think the Indo Center is going to head down there with us next time.
That's a great idea. A company like Digestive Health Associates of Texas and AmSurge, and these companies that we're affiliated with. Yep. We've got KBS doing it now. We can just keep working our way up to the bigger and bigger companies that we have access to. Yeah, to help out.
That's right.
That's it's a pretty powerful message too, to be able to go and serve with versus who am I just going to go and serve.
Yeah, that's nice. Right. Well, even take it to the business level now.
Sure.
Think about what's happened in business over the last number of years. We had Tom's come up with the 1-for-1 model, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about a transaction. You buy this, we'll give this. And that's as far as it ever goes with a customer. And then you have the companies that, as you just said, this is a great team building opportunity. Let's bring our employees in. Salesforce rocks it out with empowering their employees to go serve in the local community and the things that they're passionate about. But where's the model where now, as a company, you can invite your customers to come serve with you, and you're not just they already love your product, right? They're buying from you because they love your product. But what if you're inviting them now into your value system, and you build a relationship with them around your value system of giving back, of doing good as a company, of becoming a force for good? The moment you do that, you turn customers into raving fans of your brand.
Sure.
That's the power of this. It's the power of with.
Yeah.
It's the power of with.
And the interesting thing about that is that it cannot be faked.
No.
I mean, you either live it and you say, look, we would love our customers. I would love everybody who's ever bought Atrantil to be part of something like this, but I want you to do it because you just want to do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it you're not going to gain anything other than you're going to be part of a community. You're going to serve. Yes. You're going to find purpose. We want to be one of those companies that actually helps with something like that. Right. You can't fake it.
No.
But you're inspiring something in people that's beyond a product.
Definitely.
We were talking earlier that there was a study when you stole the car earlier.
Thanks, Frenchie.
A study came out that millennials prefer to purchase from a company that they feel is doing good for their community, for the world, whatever, because it's a very jaded society now. We realize that there's just a lot of for-profit things. We're going to get into this because a nonprofit, for-profit, the only way that you're going to be successful is actually making a profit one way or the other.
Was it Hollis or somebody else at Baby Bath Water that one time was talking about the best way for someone to have a good experience with you? I can't remember if it was Hollis or not, but they essentially said your customers are always looking for the community net positive. And I can't remember exactly who it was that said that at the last meeting, but they were talking about, if I make this purchase, then I know I'm getting this product. But what if I'm supporting a company that's also either helping the environment or helping my fellow man? They're looking for the net positive with their interaction with the company. Because if I buy a pencil over here from, I won't say the name of a store, but it's all about the transaction. Well, it's only as cold as the money went here and I walked away with a pencil. But maybe if I spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 cents more over here, and they encouraged me to do one more thing in my community that brought somebody else in or made a piece of plastic disappear.
Man, I love where you're going with this. It never even occurred to me that part of our follow-up post-purchase email should be something charitable like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should sit there and say, not now that you purchase this, get on, because you know how it's business. It's the post-purchase email. Hope you enjoyed it. We want to turn you into a net promoter.
You want to subscribe?
Yeah. Do you want? But everybody's doing that. I want to do this, and we're going to do this with KBMD and KBS.
Yeah.
Say thank you for purchasing this. Hey, we teamed up with Ron Klabunde, who has opened this thing. If you are so inclined, go look at it. One time, one email, no more follow-up, no if-then funnels, this. No, just check it out. I like it. You should check it out.
So this concept of wanting to do things with led you to basically change the way that you handled your approach to being a pastor.
Correct.
And then, so when are you getting to the point where Replenish Foundation and Generosity Feeds and the other companies that are enveloped within begin to form on the horizon? How did that all come about?
So I'll bring us back to the beginning.
Okay.
My wife and I were living in Northern Virginia, and this is pertinent to the story in that we were living in the wealthiest county in America. Okay.
Is this outside of D.C.?
This is outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Okay. And so we realized that people in Washington, D.C. area wanted to serve. They wanted to teach even their children the values of generosity and service. And it all comes back to this. No one wants their kids growing up being an asshole. No one. And so we figured, but here's the problem. The problem is it takes time to find a good nonprofit. It's even harder to find a good nonprofit that will let children serve because of insurance liabilities.
Oh.
So that's a huge,
interesting.
Never thought about that.
barrier entry point for families serving together. So what we did is we decided, well, let's create something that has a low entry level. Let's partner with the local school because the local school already has more influence than any other organization in the community.
Sure.
So if the school is promoting it, people are going to come. So now I don't have any marketing overhead. Yay. And so then we went to local businesses and we said, listen, the local school, we're doing this event with them. And in the wealthiest county in America, catch this, there were 12,500 children struggling with hunger.
The
Wealthiest county in America, 12,500 children struggling with the hunger back in the day. So we looked at this and we went, business leaders, listen, why don't you come with us, fund this, but also bring your employees with you as a team building opportunity. Let's just do this as a community-wide, a collaborative. So it's a school, it's the businesses, nonprofit sector, a church here or there.
Can I slow you down just
Please,
really quick? Because I love, and we've talked about this, I love how people end up where they get there.
Right.
And clearly you saw the need.
Right.
I want to know even before that, when you were sitting with your wife and you guys had the aha moment.
Yeah.
Where you went, hey, maybe we should consider doing something like this because it makes total sense that you know that all these kids need to eat. It's those moments that build that can change the trajectory of a life.
And did mine, absolutely. We were innovating ways to create easy entry levels for people to serve. So we tried a number of things before we got to Generosity Feeds. And we were sending kids, we were doing food collection before and sending kids who weren't going to eat over the weekend. We were sending them home with 20-pound backpacks of food. Now imagine a 6-year-old trying to get a 20-pound backpack.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, right? So we made some horrible mistakes in the journey, horrible mistakes. And eventually we innovated to this idea, and we mobilized 600 people. Event 1.
Wow.
600 people showed
Wow.
up to create 40,000 meals in less than 2 hours.
You and your wife planned this.
Yes.
That is so cool. The logistics of that is so cool.
Just the supply alone
Yeah.
to have that.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty
you can see
incredible.
The community now is coming
Sure.
around this idea because it's an easy entry point. Who can't show up for 2 hours at the local high school to help create food for kids in that school district
Yeah.
who would go hungry otherwise on the weekend?
Now, your experience in the church, did you kind of already know or at least somewhat predict that, because going through the Generosity Feeds event, and just like Ken described, it was lots of instant team building with the people that were
Yes.
there. Did you kind of already know, look, if we arrange in this,
Yes,
I mean,
I knew
there's
models.
wisdoms in there,
There's wisdom that I gleaned
Sure.
over the years, and there's a reason that every packaging station, which you were both at,
Sure.
it is between 12 to 15 people. There's a reason for that because we're seeking to create community. You can't create community with 600 people in one room. But if I take 600 people and I break them down into teams of 12 to 15, they're going to naturally build relationship with each other, and that's what I want. I want everyone leaving with a new friend that shares a value of generosity and service.
And the other thing, which I thought was really cool, at least when we did it, was this fun competition.
Yes.
Where
yeah.
they're like, yeah, this table's crushing it here. And I'm like, come on, guys. We're not going
We
to let them win.
gotta do
We have to do this. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's the human nature.
That's right.
Everybody was really excited as each one, we would pack the boxes. I can't remember how many food packs went into each box, but 25. Okay. So you get to 25 and then basically your table's excited because, well, we've sealed another one.
Yes.
But of course it's a victory for the kiddos. You're going to end up getting in the end.
So, as a gastroenterologist, the other thing that I was really pleased with,
Yes.
you guys chose a sustainable food source
Oh, yeah.
which
Yes.
had a good protein, fat,
Yes.
carbohydrate
Yes.
ratio.
Yes. Yes.
So, you're not like putting Fritos in a bag and
God,
saying,
no.
go home.
No.
Here's where that came from. In our family, we eat as all natural and holistic and organic as we can.
Nice.
And part of that is my wife has autoimmune issues. I don't think I've shared that with you before. And so she's also gluten intolerant and thyroid issues. And before I give the whole medical thing that's going on with her, right? Well, here's what my wife said to me. Early on, she said, there is no way that we are feeding millions of children in America what we're not willing to feed our
Good
own
for her.
children.
So cool.
That's
That
the
is so
that's
cool.
the standard. And so everything we did was go out and find the healthiest. We created the product, but create the healthiest product we could that was lightweight.
Sure.
That a 6-year-old could carry home. We had learned our lesson, right? Okay. Yeah. That was lightweight, that could be created by the masses, that could be a mobile manufacturing plant that would create community, bring all the aspects of community together, and could be a dance party when we wanted it.
It's an absolute brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a win-win-win.
All the way around.
Very clearly are not only a very generous person, very altruistic person, but pretty damn smart.
Yeah.
Because that is cool. You're a good businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could take
Thank you.
could take the letters PDS since PDG's already been taken.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it was also, it's not just infectious for the event that we went to in Dallas
Hey,
because
we're in coronavirus season. We don't use the word infectious.
oh, sorry. Let me shed some light. No, Ken, shedding disease. No, no. But I think 2 weeks before we did our event, Lovitch and Hollis
Yes.
had participated in the one that was in Colorado,
Yes.
and a
Yes.
very similar experience.
Yes.
So y'all are obviously replicating all of the
Yes.
good parts, building upon it, improving.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to the next event. We'll obviously be there, but. I don't want to steal the thunder. We'll get to that in a moment. To Generosity Feeds, how people can look it up. But
Right.
so now you've gotten to the point of my wife and I have decided that we want to do something different.
Right.
She's thrown out a great edict. We want to feed kids the same things that we would eat. Y'all
right.
pieced it together. The first event had 600 volunteers. You had 40,000 meals made. Now what?
Within 2 weeks, I started getting phone calls from community leaders around the country going, we heard what you're doing in Northern Virginia. We need your help. Will you come?
Wow.
And so
Same state. I mean,
no, across the country were calling me.
Oh, across the country. Sorry.
Country
How did they find out about it?
I'm well networked.
Okay.
So because of my background, you're
an Instagram model.
God. You just got my mouth to close.
So not that kind of networking.
No.
Okay.
Oh God. No. I used to, and now I'm back at doing keynotes around the country. I used to teach leadership development around the country, and so because of my earlier years of doing keynotes, I'm well networked into the business sector and into the kind of the faith sector of our culture. So people know that people are watching what I'm doing. They saw it, they knew, and so within 1 year of that event, we were coast to coast.
Holy cow!
That's great.
And that was the aha moment. Going back to your previous question, when was that kind of that wake up moment?
Yeah.
When we did our first event in Eugene, Oregon, as far as you can get away from DC, and it flew with all the same outcomes as we had in Washington DC. My wife and I looked at each other and went, "Holy shit! We just started a national nonprofit that can go to any community in America."
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of leading that to growth.
Sure.
Because growth doesn't just happen. You have to invest in growth. And so we began investing in the growth of the company. The other moment that was really big for us is obviously it takes capital. It doesn't matter what we're starting in life, for profit, for purpose, nonprofit, it takes capital. I remember walking in my living room and I looked at my wife and I said, "Listen, I need to write a $15,000 check to the foundation so that this thing has a chance at living. Can I write the check?" And I said, "By the way, I think we can pay ourselves back in 8 weeks." And keep in mind, I was a pastor. I was getting paid almost nothing. So 15,000 for me, you're going to know in a moment how close that was to my end.
Wow.
She says yes. 10 weeks later, I walk back in the living room and I go, "Honey, I haven't been able to pay us back on that 15,000. I need to write the last $15,000 we have to our name. Can I do it?" And my wife goes, "Write the check."
Holy cow. So just to clarify, nonprofit, you took all your savings,
Dumped it.
dumped it in there
Yeah.
with the mission of saying, we know we're onto something,
Yes.
but we're losing money right now.
Yes.
That's guts.
Well, you know what it
Holy
was?
cow.
It was this vision. This is a painful point to be honest with you, is that we had the vision for feeding millions of kids who across America struggling with hunger, but I was writing the last check not knowing if I'd feed my own.
Oh,
Goodness
oh my
gracious.
goodness.
That's
the level of
the
commitment.
line. That's the line.
Dude, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take food out of my kids' mouths knowing that if I do this right, I can feed millions.
Yes.
And your kids, did you sit and tell them that?
Oh, they know all this. They're in the game with us.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You can't-
It's so cool.
They knew.
And I know that you and I have sons that are the same age.
Yeah.
So my youngest is 16, and I think yours
Is 16?
Is 16. And then how many other kiddos you got?
18-year-old.
Oh, that's what I have
girl,
also.
And a 15-year-old girl.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I've got an 18-year-old son, 16-year-old son. You are 15.
15 and 13. I got
Yeah.
a 15-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl.
Nice.
Nice.
They eat a lot, both of them.
Yes.
If I sat with them and said, "I'm not going to feed you for a week because we're
Yeah.
going to try and feed a million." Actually, I take this back. Actually, my kids, both Lucas and Carla, are amazing kids. They would probably look at me and be like, "You need to feed a million kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll go forage."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that says a ton about you, that you went out on that kind of limb.
Right.
And man, I'm so glad that you did, because we saw the effect
Right.
that you're doing, and we only saw it on a local level.
Yes.
You see it all these other places. We're gonna explode it tonight at this party
Yeah.
on purpose.
It's going to be amazing tonight. Yeah.
So how long ago was Eugene, Oregon's first
that
event?
was 8.5 years ago.
8.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you hit Eugene, Oregon. You say to your wife, "We are definitely in something that we can replicate in city to city.
Yes.
You're going to take this nonprofit worldwide. It's going to grow. We talked about you need capital.
Right.
Where does Replenish Foundation, Generosity Feeds begin to take shape?
So we had some very wise counselors, advisors on the front end. So when we were even looking at this first event with 600 people, they said you need to start a nonprofit that is a umbrella organization so that you can create an ecosystem of nonprofits underneath it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to lead 6 initiatives that all have their own 501c3. That's 6 different boards. It's too much management. It's not efficient. So I'm far better off creating one nonprofit that can house various initiatives. So Generosity Feeds is a DBA of the Replenish Foundation. And that allows us now to be creating additional initiatives that all play off of each other.
Sure.
And are now working collectively to establish generosity as the new gold standard in America. That's what we're after.
That's fantastic.
I know that Generosity Feeds is one of your biggest DBAs under the Replenish Foundation.
Right.
What other DBAs do you have?
Yeah, the other one is Generosity Serves. So
Okay.
as of today, we have 64,000 volunteers across America. Remarkable number. Here's what's happening at events now. Oh, and we also partner with other nonprofits.
Oh.
So when we go into a community and all these meals are made, we don't do distribution. We bring in other nonprofits, we promote them at our events,
Oh, nice.
and then we give them the food. So here's what's happening. These nonprofits are now coming to us going, you got 400 people from our community to show up at your event, and we can't get 40.
Oh, okay.
Would you be willing to mobilize your local volunteers to serve with our organization? Well, of course I am.
Sure.
Right? This is about doing good. This is about becoming a force for good. This isn't about competition in the nonprofit sector. This is about helping these other nonprofits soar.
Right.
So Generosity Serves is a platform now where with our nonprofit partners across the country, we can go into our database and begin to mobilize these people to serve with these other nonprofits in the rhythm that works for their family.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't end with us.
You have built an army of
Yes.
generous people.
Yes, that's where
That's so cool.
why we're seeking to change culture. Because we know if we can change the dial of generosity in America, even just 3 notches, 3 degrees from our present trajectory, together, we can begin to solve every social issue that exists.
I believe the timing is perfect also. I think the pendulum is swinging back away from that social media obsession, and people are going, I am done. I am unplugging. I want to be with somebody. I want to talk.
Yes.
And I think it's incredible timing. I think that people
Yes.
are seeking this, which is
Yes.
why you've been able to do this. Well, you've been able to do it because you're very organized and you did it in the proper way and you're very charismatic, and there's a lot of reasons why your particular thing. But that's the platform that other people can go with. You know, we're doing KBMD is sponsoring Linda's Nebraska Ataxia thing
Ataxia,
again
yeah.
for the 4th year in a row. And I was just thinking the whole time when you said we team up with other nonprofits. She does. She is my med school roommate. Been friends with her forever, and she developed a type of ataxia, and meaning that she it's like Lou Gehrig's disease. But she has the resources, and she found a physical therapist that analyzed her and was able to put a vest on her with weights, and it actually allows her to walk. Without the vest, she can't walk.
Oh my goodness.
So then it turns...
This is amazing.
Yeah, so she decided on her own dime to do a Nebraska Ataxia Foundation, and all they do is buy vests and give them to people, and there's just video of people in wheelchairs, and they show up
Walking again.
and give them a vest because that technology exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this. There's kids not eating on the weekend. You can feed them, and you can feed them good food, and they're gonna become great members of society.
Yes.
It's just that easy. It isn't like you're going and giving some weird, obscure drug. It's like, oh my gosh. And so,
That's right.
like,
right.
I'm just, we need to get you and Linda hooked up with that, or she needs to. Do you have any events in Omaha, Nebraska?
Not right now.
We'll set that
Not on
up
the
through
docket.
her.
Good.
Because she's got a big network, and we can do that.
You know what's so cool is we've had a handful of different charitable folks drop in on the Gut Check Project, and one of them that always comes to mind right off the top is another BBW guy, and that's Robo Hendrickson.
Oh, Robo's amazing.
I mean, he
What
truly
he's doing
is
incredible.
But the way that he describes the passion behind why he does what he does in transforming communities is very similar to what you're talking about, but even more to the point, the way that it's not what you would consider what Robo termed was toxic charity.
Correct.
That's right. We did. I don't remember what podcast that was, but he came on our podcast and he taught Eric and I about toxic charity, how you can cause more damage trying to do good by throwing money at something.
The fact that y'all have yet another subsidiary just simply called Generosity Serves shows that you're enabling a community to feel comfortable and more community by serving together. And you even said it yourself, finding ways to make it fit your schedule. And you're doing it without competition between people who are trying to do well. It's like, let's lift each other together. In my own small town, and I've told this to Ken, there's a man by the name of Ricky, and he works through a church, but he invites the entire community at least one Saturday a month to simply come and staff tables where we hand out food. That's all that we do. A lot of the different food producers in the North Texas, they donate it. They know that there's going to be a big line. People come from all over. But regardless, they get shopping carts. They come out there in the parking lot. We load them up. And then they've got plenty of food for a couple of weeks. It's great, and it's giving, and it's things like what you're talking about. All they've ever needed is volunteers to help make it happen.
So, side note, but this is a shout out and mad props to every single parent out there, dad or mom. Lloyd and Lucas spent 2 weeks in Mexico touring, doing tennis. I had to try and figure out what to do with my daughter. Like pick her up from school, get her to her events, cook dinner for her. I want to say it was the 2 most stressful weeks I've had in my entire life because I'm trying to work. Now, I'm the boss.
Right.
I started thinking, wait a minute, I'm the boss and I do okay financially. What happens? And I started looking around my office and I'm like, I have a lot of single moms working for me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have a lot of single moms that are going to get fired when they show up late again. And I had this, am I that big of a jerk that I have not, until I lived it?
Yes.
I went, that's freaking hard.
Yeah.
And then when you don't have enough money to give your kid food on the weekend, the only food they're eating is at school. So then it's insult to injury where you're trying your best.
Yes, they are.
You want to give your kid food. And then something like this where they just come home with a backpack and the food's already there. No questions asked, nothing being said, and it's healthy. Amazing.
You know what makes that story even better? Is when that kid was at that school event, helped create the meal, and 3 weeks later they opened their backpack and it's sitting there and they kept their dignity because they helped make it.
Oh, yeah.
Take it the next level.
Dude,
yeah, that's cool.
And then that's the epitome of not a toxic charity, because what Robo talked about is it doesn't do me any good to go to a community, because just like you, he's serving with them. He's teaching them how to take care of their animals, go and get an education, give back to the people, learn how to grow the food, mill.
Yes.
It's very much the same thing. You've removed the stigma of someone just gave me this to, I created this for me and for some other people who are in a similar situation.
That's right.
That is a pretty incredible full circle give back.
I didn't even think about that the people that we were building these.
That's where earlier I said you very likely
had no
standing
idea.
next to a single mom.
Sure.
You had no idea, because the moment we unite ourselves around shared values, nothing else matters.
You're right.
Your wealth doesn't matter when you're united around shared value.
We do this. Eric puts my patients to sleep. I stick a camera in people's butts. The one thing that we see over and over, you may be a super rich guy, you may be this buff person, you may be old. We all have the same inner workings. We're all the same.
Yes.
That's what we totally forget.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all the same. And I see that because I stick cameras and I'm like, your stomach looks like his stomach, looks like his stomach. We're all the same.
That's right.
And when we sit there and realize that if my kid was hungry, thank God they have never had to experience that. But if we had something that I could I mean, to be able to go and be a participant and say, honey, we're going to go and we're going to pack some food and you're going to have food for this week, but we're going to earn it. That's so cool.
Yes.
Non-toxic charity.
That's right.
So we started off in Northern Virginia.
Yes.
And then we've gotten to the point now where Replenish Foundation, it functions as a large company with a handful of charitable subsidiaries.
Yes.
Now today you're in 29 different states with
Yes.
events, correct?
That's correct.
So what is it that Generosity Feeds is doing now? How can people that are tuning into Gut Check Project figure out where they fit in to learn how they can begin to serve with
Yes.
in and around their communities with their neighbors? What can people do?
So let me hit the business side of this first.
Sure.
So we work with over 600 businesses across the country.
Nice.
And it's very possible that that our listeners today have heard of something called corporate social responsibility.
Corporate social responsibility.
It's called CSR. And this is often used by the larger companies. Now, here's the problem with CSR. It's this. It's responsibility.
Oh.
No one wants to do a responsibility. Responsibility is something you have to do.
Sure.
Right? And yet these larger companies, most companies are looking for CSR. What's our corporate social responsibility going to be? No. We're throwing corporate social responsibility out the window and we're saying, listen, don't do a CSR. Do CSO. Corporate social opportunity. Let us help you as a business create a philanthropic strategy that engages your product, a piece of your profit, whatever you want, your employees, and your customers. And that customer piece is a huge piece. And so one of the things that we're doing now with companies is helping them develop their CSO, corporate social opportunity, because when a company does it right, it's going to accelerate their business. I was talking with a very large business owner in Salt Lake City this last week, and they just dumped a lot of money into a nonprofit initiative. And I said, you're about to open 25 restaurants around the country, and you're going to drop about $500,000 on every one. I'm sorry, $500 million on every restaurant just to open it. I said, I would imagine.
What?
Okay,
500 million?
500 million is what typically it takes to open these larger scale restaurants.
Holy cow.
Right. So 500 million. When you open a restaurant, are you going into that with a strategy and a plan? She's like, yeah, well, of course they are. Anyone would. I said, over the next 10 years, you're probably going to invest $200,000 to $300,000 in philanthropy. Do you have a strategy for that? And she's like, oh, I get your point. Why in the world would you take $200,000 of your profit and invest it in nonprofits without a strategy?
Right.
Like, let me help you design a strategy with your marketing team that's wrapped with your values so that you're doing your philanthropy with a purpose. So you can see the outcomes in a way that actually accelerates your business.
Holy cow.
But I love this
cool.
because what I'm hearing is that charity and giving back is not checking a box.
No, this is about nonprofits and for-profits working together. And here's the statement. The linchpin is this: for-profits that have the heart of a nonprofit need to find great nonprofits that have the mind of a business.
Say that one more time.
Okay. For-profits, businesses that have the heart of a nonprofit.
Love that.
Need to find great nonprofits who have the mind of a business.
And you're allowing this. So I'm like, the fact that you said that this is a corporate social opportunity, you are figuring out how to do it well. You can come to a company like KBS and say you are leaving your customers in a position where they don't know that they can give back, and we all win.
Yes. And I can coach you through, I can guide.
That's
and
so
here's the
cool.
beauty of this. This isn't about the foundation. Because at the end of the day, I want your company doing what you're passionate about. Not what I'm passionate about. This is about your value system. And so if these companies choose to work with us, that's great. I mean, that's going to help accelerate what we're doing. That's not the point to this.
Right.
The point is, if you're aligning your profits and your values and your employees and your customers with a great nonprofit that aligns with all of that, then guess what? You're doing good. You're becoming a force for good, and that's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And so that's the end game. Why? Because we're seeking to establish generosity as the new gold standard. That's not about me. That's about you.
You wrote your last $15,000 check, told your kids, we're out of money. And you went from there to, I'm now going to teach large corporations how to do it better. And
Yes.
it all revolves around generosity. And you
Yes.
led by example that day when you wrote that check.
Yes.
So cool. That is so, so cool. I'm excited.
I can't.
We are leaving. We are completely, because we know everybody at KBS. We all do charitable things.
Sure.
We donate money. I do the thing that you're saying, which is, I try to donate, like Linda's foundation and stuff like that. Every year I sponsor. I'm not taking advantage of the fact that I need to spread that message, because all it does is help everyone get in their lane and, this is where I need to drive. That's basically what you're telling people to do.
It's the power of with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Power of with.
No, that's a pretty powerful message all the way around. It just seems like that lots of corporate responsibility did turn into the checking of a box. It's like,
Yes.
we should be doing this, so let's be sure that we do it. And
Right.
Carol, you're over there. Did we do that thing? Did we send the check? But there's no personality behind that.
Right.
There's no touch in there. You're really not seeing
Well,
the
let's
benefit
take it
of
one step further as a pastor. Tithing. I grew up Catholic.
Right.
Tithe
Sure.
10%. Where does it go? Who cares? I don't know. I'm just
Right.
giving it.
That's
right.
That's what they said we had to do.
Yeah.
That's the world I was in too.
You know, it suddenly it just enters a world of obligation. What was probably born as a good purpose,
That's right.
it's lost touch, it's lost feel. There's no texture to it. It's just this money is spoken for and it's gone now.
So now I'm super intrigued as a business owner.
Right.
I come to you, Ron, and I say, I have a business. We're growing. I want to get my company in this corporate social opportunity. What would be the first thing that you would do? What would you do with me?
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an assessment. I'm going to have you assess your own company as to where you're at. And that's going to do two things. Number one, that's going to help you understand, wait a minute, we're not all bad. That's the first thing it's going to do.
Because I talked to Tim and Patrick about this, that like we're doing the whole we've all read the book Traction.
Yes.
And so you do like the you start thinking everybody's bad. You're like, this is your score, Eric. You're a 2 this week. You are a 2.
No, so you're gonna get some good news, right?
Yeah.
But you're also gonna evaluate where you want to be when it comes to CSO, corporate social opportunity, and then I'm gonna walk you through a process, a blueprint of helping you close that gap. It's that simple. And in a company your size, 4 hours, you will walk away with a blueprint of going, oh my God, is it really that easy? And it is. And so this is not rocket science. I don't need to consult
Sure.
a company for 3 months. Let's just sit down. I'll put you through the assessment. We're going to walk you then through our blueprint that aligns your social good with your value system, your product, and some of your profit. And boom, you walk out the door going, oh my God, here's who we can partner with, and here's how we can tie our business and our customers into it, and everyone wins.
We have, when we launched our product, we know consistently, because our research, when we did the clinical trials, we know that 4 out of 5 people are going to get better, like really
Yes.
get better.
Sure.
And when we launched, we either had 1 star on Amazon or we had 5, which is not a placebo. Either we
Right.
worked or we didn't.
Yes.
And fortunately, we are 4 stars and close to 1,000 reviews. Every single one of those people that we helped, we can say, if we made you feel better, I'm going to ask a favor of you now. And then we do your process.
Yes.
Because you have somebody that, I do feel better. You changed my life. I want you to pay it forward.
That's
and
right.
be with, and we can make a difference and grow this network.
That's right.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is very
Corporate
cool.
social opportunity. Did you coin that term?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Only because CSO doesn't work. It's a check a box. It's not the heart.
Right.
And we're seeking to pull out of people the values that are in them. The values are there. It's just letting them come to the surface and begin living.
Isn't that so interesting? Because you can see how many people want to have that pulled out of them.
Yes.
Because we think that everybody's superficial and stuff, but the reality is when we went and when we did Generosity Feeds, that was an enthusiastic. It's not like
From the moment we walked in.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
everybody, the energy was amazing.
Yeah.
People want to get off of this superficial thing. They want to be part of something, and if they know that they can, it just comes to them. I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, I was so excited. I only found out about it because Eric said, hey, one of our baby bathwater people does this. And I was like, okay, what are we doing? I was on call that weekend and everything. I was like, okay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Loved it, had fun, and I'm somebody that is perfectly willing to give back and try and help out wherever, but it doesn't, since it's not being fed to me, I'm busy. I forget.
Right.
Now, if we can sit there and develop some sort of process and we can get other companies, like some of the other companies that we work with.
You know, what's kind of interesting is at KBMD Health, but also just in the direct patient contact that we have, we talk about diet, we talk about exercise, we talk about different things that people do to improve their own health.
Yes.
And since I was a kid, I've heard that many times just simply giving of yourself will reward you even more than whatever. But you hear it, you don't always get a blueprint on how do I effectively give back. And it sounds to me like probably what you're really doing is, it may sound elementary, but you're just helping people rediscover the new way to find their purpose.
Yes.
And then suddenly you begin to feel better. Suddenly depression issues aren't nearly as bad as they used to be. Because if you think about a gym, do you think gyms existed back in the 1800s? Could you imagine in the 1800s telling someone, we're going to have this building and there's going to be metal bars and we're going to put weights on them and we're going to lift them and we're going to put things over our heads and we're going to do some stuff like this and we're going to do some stuff like this and you're going to look great, you're going to feel good. And some cowboy would have shot you between the eyes going, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Have you ever heard that whole Jim Gaffigan set where he's just like, what in the world? How did people develop a Stairmaster? Hey, I got an idea. You know people love walking upstairs? Let's make one that's never ending. I mean, who thought of that?
Never ending.
But people, they've gone to do that because that level of exercise, for whatever it is keeping them in shape and helping them feel better. It just seems like what you're doing is reintroducing people back to what they've become they became disconnected from your core.
That's right.
That's why people do yoga. It's why people do meditation. It's to return to who they are. This is not that different.
I have an idea for you.
Please.
I think you should make the food much heavier, like 20 pounds. Put it on the kids.
Yeah.
Give them a little workout.
And then let them do squats.
Yeah.
You do Memorial Day Murph. Yeah. Just for Memorial Day, you go to Generosity Feeds, get your 20-pound pack, go do some air squats.
That is so cool. So I'm loving the idea that we could sit there and send a post-purchase email sequence that just says, hey,
Yes.
It's time to give back.
Time to give back. If you got better, great. If you didn't, you get your money back because we have a 100% money back guarantee.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you didn't get better, here's your money back. If you got better, now you need to pay it forward.
But not you go give back. Give back with us.
With us.
With us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a relationship.
Yeah.
Everything's relationship.
Let us know how you're giving back also. I mean, just whatever it takes.
But it's not, what I like what you're doing is you go, I'm a company your size. I need 4 hours. I've got the process. You very clearly are a very detail-oriented person. You think through all these things. You've got 64,000 soldiers that got your back right now. That's what we would need. I mean,
Right.
I want you to come to me and be like, here's what you're going to do. That's what I love about Traction. It's like,
Yeah.
you're going to do this, this, and this.
Right.
Now, for your charity, you're going to do this, and this. Not write one check every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And walk
make sure
away.
it interplays with what you were doing from the book Traction. Because again, when we talk about our body and our health, we're holistic beings. Everything interplays.
Right.
Same thing in business. What you do in the philanthropic side of your business needs to completely interplay with what you do in the profit side of your business. Let them intertwine. They're not two different silos. And that's what we're bringing together.
Yeah. Man, I love what you're doing.
I do too.
Absolutely love what you're doing. And I just, I like hearing the story, how I built this.
Yeah.
Because people look at this, they're like, oh, yeah, he's a charismatic guy, he's a coach, whatever. No, you wrote a check with the last money in your bank. And you went,
That hurts.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, in case you're joining us late in the podcast and you're just joining in because somebody
If you're
else
joining us late, just rewind and start over because it's
Start
really
over.
good.
Or if you walked in and somebody else is listening, Generosity Feeds does not hand out cheap meals and sweet tarts. This is legitimate food for kiddos that don't have an opportunity to eat and don't have an opportunity to get a good meal on the weekends. And you've stepped in and you've allowed people into your vision to serve, and they're serving with you, which I think is awesome.
You know what I really like also? Having kids our age, Eric made it a point to make sure that it was a family involvement. Gage brought his girlfriend.
Yeah, did.
It was
awesome.
we're going to do this. I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to put the hairnet on. I'm going to put the gloves on.
Yes.
You're going to see your dad do it first.
Yes.
And then follow my lead. So it's the same thing. You lead by example. You teach others to do that. They teach others to do that. Now we're all with it.
Yes.
So cool.
And the car ride home was filled with smiles. It was rainy that day.
Yeah, that was.
It rained
Yes.
hard that day, but I mean, everybody was like, man, it felt great.
Yes.
And it did.
And then it's the conversations as a parent that's
Definitely.
reinforcing the experience.
Sure.
That's
Definitely.
the power.
Definitely.
No curriculum needed.
No.
Yeah.
How do people find you, Ron? How do people help out?
Easy. Email me at ron@replenishfoundation.org. That easy. Different ways to help out. Look for an event in your area. That's one. If we're not there yet, that's fine.
How do they find that? Is that on Generosity
Go
Feeds?
to generosityfeeds.org. And-
O-R-G.
Yep. Generosityfeeds.org. Go to locations. You'll see what's coming in the next usually 4 months.
Okay.
And we're already booking 18 months from now.
Whoa.
So it's crazy. But that leads to part two. If you lead a business that is wanting to do good, or you're a community leader of it, call us. We'll come do an event with you. Like, we'll coach you on how to mobilize your entire community and work with you and support you in this, because it's all about the width.
Right.
So let's do this in your community. Let's do this together. So that's the other piece, is go to generosityfeeds.org and just contact us, and we'll help get this going in your community.
You hear that, Linda? Nebraska Ataxia. Hit him up. Omaha is going to be the next place to do a Generosity Feeds spot. And then we're going to team up 2 charities that I support.
29 states covered right now, which means there's 21 left just in the U.S. alone.
Correct.
So knowing that, if I were a corporate person who wanted to be a corporate partner, and I know that we said that you don't just want to write a check, but you do need supplies.
We do. Well, and we have national level funders that are helping advance the mission.
Oh, nice.
So we have local people who support the local events.
Okay.
And then we have the national partners, which you guys are, that are helping mobilize us into new communities across America, that are helping us empower 64,000 volunteers, because the idea needs to spread.
I just thought about something here. So if I'm not a complete, I don't know how to say this in the right way, but if I'm a family that is tight on budget,
right,
and it's just easier to spend $8 at McDonald's to feed the family, is there, I guess I don't know how to say this, but I would almost like to tell my patients, for instance,
right,
because I hear this from my patients all the time. It's very hard for me to go shop at Whole Foods or whatever, or it's just easier that I can get McDonald's and and I try and get them off of that. Is there a price point? Can anybody be part of this? Can anybody eat it? I mean, basically, I would tell my patients, go to Generosity Feeds, pack your own bag, make sure you eat this on the weekends, and don't eat that crap that you find cheap.
Yeah.
So at our events, when people come at the end of all of our events, here's what we say. If you are here today and you need food, just come see us privately, because you're going to walk away with food.
Nice.
So it's that simple. Yes, is the food already designated to the nonprofits that are going to distribute it? Yes. That doesn't matter.
Sure.
When someone comes to an event and needs food, just come talk to one of our team members. We're going to hand you the food that you just created. Walk away with it.
So DHAT, my company, we need to do something with this also. As a gastroenterologist that are the premier gastroenterology group in the country, we need to lead by example. We need to do stuff like this.
Definitely. And I think everybody be on board too. This is another one of those things where you're just delivering laser focus to a lot of people who want to serve. They just don't know how to do it or how to do it together.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes it's the conventions. Like Mod Pizza, as you said, is a title partner with us, national partner with us. So they do a leadership summit with all their general managers every year. Guess what we do? We go in and catch this. This year, they're creating 50,000 meals. They'll do it in less than 1 hour with 2,000 people.
Wow.
Like, so we can come into these conferences and conventions and we do this. We're working with Microsoft right now. Like, the coolest thing ever.
Who are they?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think an up and coming company should buy some stock.
Okay.
So,
I'll try it.
so again, and those are private events where it's just that corporation. But it's like you.
That's so cool.
You've got this group around the country. The doctors come together. You put them on. So many companies talk about doing good. Well, let's just do it. We'll bring it to you.
Don't talk about doing good.
Well,
Just
man,
do
I'm
it.
sitting there thinking, we've got my company. I'm just thinking how many of these single moms that work for us that probably would be relieved if they could go home with some food.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because I found myself running out of time not cooking for Carla for those 2 weeks and ordering food. And we ate like crap per our standards.
Sure.
I mean, it's relative, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
it is.
we eat a lot of Thai food and whatever, which I like. But I wasn't cooking whole food. I wasn't doing the stuff that we normally would do.
No, I agree with that. And probably the epitome of a lot of the people that want to give back, who aren't always in the best position to give back, happen to be those same people I would never know who actually truly struggles
Has a need.
and is walking amongst us until sometimes they kind of have hit a wall and they're just
That's
like,
right.
for the last number of weeks, I've been dealing with this, and I'll look and I'll say, I had no idea. But that same person, whomever that would happen to be, I'm certain would jump at the opportunity to help a neighbor, a friend, and then, of
Yes.
course, they would have the opportunity to benefit and take something back to their kids. That would be kind of incredible.
Wow. I want to thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on.
Thanks, Ron.
I
Oh,
want
my
to
goodness.
thank you
It's
for...
been good being here with you guys.
You lead by example. You're certainly going to make a difference with us. We're gonna jump on board with KBS, KBMD, DHAT. We're going to have the corporate social opportunity be our new motto.
Yeah, and if you're only watching us on the YouTube, you may have missed, we are down here in Austin, Texas for what they call the Austin Pop, the Party on Purpose
Yes.
event, where we have a handful of corporate entrepreneurs who've come down here to Austin basically to help Generosity Feeds and Replenish Foundation mobilize to more areas throughout our country, feeding kiddos that just need some good meals.
That's right.
So, Ron, I can't thank you enough for just bringing to life an incredible vision for a lot of people who just needed it. So
Thank
it's
you, man.
yeah, it's awesome.
I appreciate it. Great being on with you
love
guys too. This has honestly just been a load of fun,
Well, good,
Yeah.
good.
and I'm sure it has been for everyone else too.
I hope so.
Well, hopefully this will kind of spread, and this is a great example of leading by example, living by example, corporate social opportunity, generosity feeds, generosity serves. Everything you have said is just makes me feel like I'm kind of a bad person. I need to do more.
That's probably going to do it for episode number 35. Ron Klabunde here from Replenish Foundation and Generosity Feeds and Generosity Serves. Look him up. Everything in show notes. Of course, check us out. Like and share. Gut Check Project, kbmdhealth.com. Dr. Brown, anything else?
Yeah, I'm going to task everybody with a personal social opportunity. Definitely like and share this particular episode because
Please.
it goes way beyond the Gut Check Project. You
Send
can
it
help
to your
some people.
boss.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Send it to your boss. Find something that where you work or with your team, if you happen to be an entrepreneur, how can we begin to work together? This is your team building exercise. It costs you nothing and it gives everything.
Here we go. I'm gonna share this with Lloyda right now, my boss, my wife.
Thank you. Tune in to Gut Check Project. We'll see you next week. Don't forget we have the giveaway, Dr. Brown's signature package in the next
that's right.
episode.
Yeah, we have the giveaway.
Episode 36. So,
Awesome.
Wonderful.
See you later.
All right.